Lucy Blake-Elahi was born and raised in Brooklyn, New York in 1941. Her educator father once taught Olympic-level gymnastics at NYU, and her mother, an aspiring interior decorator, did office work inside the home. Lucy was an only child who found her way to art studies at State University of New York, SUNY at New Paltz, and
Oh,
then the Pratt. Did I get that right, Lucy?
oh,
It's
New
New
Paltz.
Paltz.
New Paltz. Okay. New Paltz. And then the Pratt Institute, where she got an MS, a Master of Science, in education. She began her teaching career in New York public schools while living in a loft near the Chelsea Hotel on 23rd Street in Manhattan. In 1969, she headed west, taking a train across Canada and landing in Los Angeles, eventually finding an ADU in East Hollywood where she could do ceramics and study painting at UCLA. She went on to enjoy a long and vibrant career as an exhibiting and public works artist and was twice president of SWCA, first in 1987 and again in 2003. For the past 25 years, she has taught art at West Los Angeles College. But for the rest of the story, I'm going to let Lucy share it with you. So without further ado, I give you Lucy Blake-Elahi.
when I was 12 years old, and before that, I was always drawing cowgirls, and here's cowgirl waving to a cowboy. And I didn't really realize that lots of girls do that, have cowboy fantasies and things. And when I listened to the Women's Caucus, Nancy Mills was one of the artists who talked about going like that in her studio. And it was really fun to listen to that. So here on the right is a sculpture I call Meeting Myself in the Studio. And the figure on the right has flip-flops and an old shirt with her jeans, and the figure on the left has pointy cowboy boots and a bullet belt with the gun stuck in the holster, and they have a cowboy hat on top. And so here's just about, I don't know if you'd be interested or not, but just the idea of moving to LA. My first home was on Serrano Avenue, which was 1969 to 74. And I started taking UCLA extension classes, and I met Carolyn Berger. And I don't know if you know who she is, but anyway, we took them at the bungalows at UCLA. And Sam Amato was one of the teachers, and I was stayed in that home for about 6 years. Then I got to know a lot of artists, and some people owned some property, and I moved into a Silver Lake apartment above two garages for $135 a month. I think that's kind of a crack up. And in the garage downstairs, I had a whole ceramic studio I created. I got my pottery wheel and so on. I had everything fired at the pot shop in Venice. I was teaching at Ramona High School in East LA, and I had to learn to crochet and how to set up a loom and weave on it because the teacher I took over was retired, and she taught me that. And then I met my husband, and his daughter was about 8 years old at that time. And during school breaks, she would come with me and she would weave also. So that was Ramona High School was all girls, and it was about 6 years that I worked there. Um, my third home, since I met Faz, um, I moved into his house in 1980 and we got married in 81. And it just so happened I was teaching at Dorsey High School, which is right here just east of La Brea, which is kind of the neighborhood that I live in. Um, and that we did some murals, and the murals are still there. I was renting it. Then I rented a studio in Venice, a really beautiful ceramic studio with big kilns in the back and stuff. But the address is 513 Boccaccio. And psychically, or whatever it is, 45 years later, Deb Gregory says, and she's the president of the Biona Creek Renaissance. And she said, we want to do a show The benefits, 40% or whatever go to the Biona Creek Renaissance, and we want to put your work in it. I had 60 pieces in that show, and look at the address, 513 Boccaccio. That studio was redone, remade. It is now this two-story, exquisite, sexy gallery, and it's open to people, open to nonprofits. So it's another place where SWCA might look into.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
Anyway, how Women's Caucus helped me. And if I'm going on too long, guys, would you say, okay, next, please? Um, SWCA, I don't like SWCA, but the words SWCA. But anyway, the Women's Caucus had a big meeting in New York, and I went down there with a bunch of you guys. And one of the women I went with was named Jutta Lockvig. She was a Danish artist. And anyway, there was a big event with Betsy Damon in one of the rooms. I mean, there were hundreds of women artists. And she was asking for some women who would contribute time to do whatever it was. And maybe 5 women raised their hands in that group. And she said, I understand why only 5 women raised their hands. I know you all want to. And wow, that really got me. It's like, I know you want to be a part of this. So anyway, she knew something that I wanted to know. And it turns out she leads No Limits for Women Artists, which is another organization. And getting into that, I started teaching No Limits for Women Artists. And part of that is making a commitment. And it's like, what's your biggest vision? What's your first step? Where might it get difficult? Where will you ask for help? And those were the kind of things that we worked with every meeting, every month. I think that's how we met. Anyway, I think that's how often we met. Anyway, so one of my commitments was to go to Greece because I had been drawing amphitheaters from the Hollywood Bowl, and I was ready to go for the real ones. And I went to Greece and drew amphitheaters. And I could not find the pictures of the big ones, but actually these 2 sold in March. And one of the interesting things about Greece too is that there were these legends about harpy eagles that swoop down and go to the ships, the ancient Greek ships, and they would steal babies or small people in their claws. I mean, harpy eagles are the biggest eagles on the planet. And I never had my own child and didn't realize that there was this craving for it, even though I had a stepdaughter who was now at this time maybe about 9 or 12. So these are some images of the harpy eagles with babies. And then we went to Yellowstone during the fires in the 80s, Faz and his daughter and I. My husband's name is Faz, he's Persian. And I was so moved by, I guess I can't, this thing is kind of covering up some of it. I can't move it. It's right behind the people, but I can't move that either. Okay, anyway, I was so moved by what's going on under the earth, as well as these fires on top of the earth, and then the geysers coming up, that everything I was doing was either the wood pieces on the left, which are the hanging ones are the waterfalls, the red ones are the fires, and the greenish one is the geysers. And then a whole bunch of monotypes that you can see behind Sandra and myself in the middle of the picture. And the one that is behind, can you see the third one on the right? Or is it?
Yes. Yep.
Yes.
Okay, so that's also Mother Earth or so, producing. Also, I fell in love with the Anacapa Islands, and actually I sold the one on the right, a huge painting, something like that. I sold it to the Security Pacific Bank. And then when the bank closed, a few years later, I got an email from an architect that he had that painting, and there it was in his office. So that's kind of nice. these pieces are about, I have another picture. Oh, I can't, how go? Yeah, are about 4 by 4 feet. Okay. Um, we're switching now to contemporary, what's happening in my life kind of in the last 2 years. And I did these drawings and collages in 2012. And to me, they show that I was aware that my husband had some kind of thing going on with his system. And it turns out he has Alzheimer's. But these feel like that loss, kind of the heads down, the loss of a sense of self.
Hmm.
So my studio looked like when I was working is the one on the far left. Big studio on top of the house, on top of the front of the house, with the steps going up to lofts in the side for storage. And then just last year, I started having to empty it out completely. And on the right is my bedroom studio in the guest room now. And I'll show you what we did to the studio. Ta-da! This is what the studio turned into. The up,
Wow.
if you
Nice.
go up, I'm trying to go back. Here we go. So here's, this on the left, the two on the left, and then here it is cleaned out and the
Nice.
kitchen put in, and then a view from the top. Ta-da! And here's my husband and my dog. And here I am teaching online for the last 25 years. And during the 3.5 years that I was a caregiver, I worked on small pads of paper, kind of like this, but 6 inch. I didn't realize that they were all 6 inch, and just drawing every night for like 3 years. Just whatever is in my head, just start scribbling. And then once he went into the facility, which was about a year ago, July, I started pulling them together and trying to kind of get rid of them a little bit. The one on the right says trying to hold it together, the way on the right with the brown top and bottom.
Mhm.
But the rest of these are 6 inch drawings that I've kind of fooled around with. And I thought I had what it says over there. I think I do. There. This collection of small works is inspired. Should I just let you read it?
Go read it. Your voice is nice to have in it.
This collection of small works is inspired by being a caregiver for my husband, Blake-Elahi, who over the past many years was diagnosed with Alzheimer's. Working each night on a 6 inch square sketchbook kept me sane and connected to my innards. These pieces are drawn without intention, allowing the lines, colors, and images to flow through me. Now on 12-inch square canvases, they become colorful with abstract lines to help express and hide the sorrow.
Mm.
So that's what these are. And there's a happy dog on the top left. And I walk like 3 miles a day, a mile 3 times a day to kind of keep myself going. And each one of them has something about caregiving.
Yeah.
And this is what I'm working on. These are in process, where not really praying, but praying in a way, and nurturing with my hands.
Mm.
So professional, I have a website that I'd like to share with you. So this is Southern California Women's Caucus for Art. Keepers of the Waters, that's with Betsy Damon, the Biona Network. I've been with the Biona Creek Renaissance for a long time. And I've been teaching UCLA, how to teach art in UCLA, LA Unified, and the 25. I teach art appreciation mostly at West LA College and art history. Okay, then I had a wonderful show at West LA College when the Iraqi war was going on, when they were stealing things from the Baghdad Museum.
Mm.
And the reason I got connected emotionally was that I was teaching on campus, teaching about those pieces at the time that they were being stolen from the museum.
Oh, wow.
So you'll see I have some pictures of that.
Mm.
And also, I started getting some public art commissions. So I started teaching part-time. And on the left, these images were from the Yellowstone, the fire and the water and the geysers.
Mm.
And those were my symbols for geysers. And so it just worked for the fire department in Pasadena. And on the left, ceramic tile, I'd worked with children who were handicapped, mentally handicapped. Worked with Culver City. Actually, this is the Bionda Creek bug path. And there's a guy who makes his own out of metal and rocks and so on. And he was more connected with the people who were the Mountains Recreation and Conservation Authority. But then Jim Lamb, who works with the Bionda Creek Renaissance, said, hey, you need to open this up. And so I put in a bid, and somebody else and a few other people, and I got this gate. I got a gate to choose. Which street do you want, Sepulveda or Overland? And I chose Sepulveda because it was right on the street, not down the hill. And I really like it. So I was drawing from the eucalyptus trees.
It's wonderful.
Yeah, it is. It's beautiful.
Hawk, and trying to get a lot of different leaves in it, and the bike.
Is it fabricated out of a sheet steel, like cut, water jet cut, or
That's it. It's laser cut.
laser cut? Okay.
This was the trial piece hanging in Long Beach. That trial piece.
All right.
And then Culver City gave me the commission to make a sundial. I was sitting over by near Overland, looking at the Bionda Creek, which is really, used as kind of a sewer channel almost. And so the reason that we have Bionda Creek Renaissance is to keep it clean, and it's going directly into the ocean and into all the Bionda wetlands. So anyway, this was homage to Bionda Creek, and an equatorial sundial. The pole faces north, and on one side of the sundial, it's daylight savings, and the other, it's standard time. So if we ever switch, half of it's going to be wrong half the year. But I had kids work on the tiles. The original one was in the park, and then we had to move it, believe it or not, had to recreate the whole thing. And it's a 24-foot gnomon, that the big shaft is the gnomon. 24 feet, because 12 is down in the ground. And it's a 6-foot diameter bronze hollow dial.
Wow. Cool.
Oh
my gosh, the engineering must have been something to get it.
That was fun. I got to know a lot of the good people in Culver City.
Yeah.
It's got a great view from here. I think you can
that's fabulous.
View here. And then because of that, also, I got some jobs through the, what's it called? Let's see, I must have put it down here. Yeah, the artist read the LA Theater Works. LA Theater Works, LATW. They put artists into the camps, the artist residencies in some of the camps for the kids who are criminals. That's the word.
At risk.
Yeah. So anyway, these are equatorial sundials that work. You can see what time it is. And I had the students make clay tiles and design different things. I don't remember what theme they chose, but they chose the theme that had to maybe do with time. And I put more information down here than I'm talking about, really. Oh yeah, and then I had Betsy Damon needed another artist to take over a residency in Queens, which felt like, oh, let's go home almost. And it's a 12 by 12 project. There's a book, 12 by 12, about how this guy lived in a 12 by 12 facility. And so I was there for 2 weeks and we did sundial projects. You can see these kind of starting pieces,
Oh,
and they had a lot of kids. And the big question was, what can you not do without? And so sometimes when they were in the groups like this, they would write and then make a little sketch of something that they felt they couldn't do without, like their mother or whatever.
yeah,
And then they did these kind of temporary equatorial sundials. And that was definitely fun.
lovely. Wonderful.
Streetscape, Linwood City. This was a really big project. Linwood High Energy, 4 blocks long, 12 designs about school subjects on Imperial Highway. And I gave them the design. I watched them, do it. And this is a circular, it's a tube, a hollow tube that goes through with lights on both sides. And these are some of the symbols of science and so on. So each one art.
Wow.
Um,
But by now you have really good fabricators that you know you can count on, I guess.
well, I'll tell you, each project provided their own.
Really?
Yeah,
Wow.
so I didn't have a lot of control.
Okay. Well, the
I had the
design.
drawings,
Yeah,
and I had to do the presentation to the public for them to accept the project.
right.
I mean, there was a lot of interaction, but
Sure.
once it started to be made, I assigned the colors, but actually up here, they changed some of the images. So these 3, 4 circles were their ideas, and that's fine, it's public art, man.
Yep.
And this one, they told me, and I have,
Great.
and it's true that when you're doing public art, you have to make sure the spaces between the metal is 5 inches or less, so kids don't get their head stuck through it. And
Yep. Oh,
so by the
boy.
time we finished this, though, we all agreed that this could have been a much smaller gauge, because anyway, but it works.
Yeah.
And here are the feet running at the end of it,
Wow.
I mean, I have to say the drama is a little actor, I mean, usual, but that's, okay. And the worst thing
Wow.
is it got knocked down. So that's public art for you.
It got knocked down. Yeah, that's a shits when they don't just take care of this stuff, isn't it?
Right, right.
Been there, done
This
that.
one, yeah, and this one was sort of unsettling in a way because it's a streetscape and we wanted images, but the the ability to make the images in this material is definitely limited. I mean, this is all, I did so much study on the reflections of the neighborhood and the old schoolhouse and everything, but when it's up there, you really can't see it, I have more pictures of that, but I guess they're
You
not,
can see it now. I mean, it reads.
it kind of reads, but it wasn't as clear as I wanted it, I guess.
Yeah, that's hard.
But I do like the way it looks this way, coming down through the place.
Oh, wow. Well, you've done a lot.
Let's see what else. Oh, then murals. I'm sure you've all done some murals. This is the one and they're being taken care of. We go back and repaint them every once in a while. Lori Escalera, who's a fabulous artist, organized this, and David Farrington. And that's funny, Francois's name is not on here. Anyway, so here, Rivers of the World along the Bayona Creek. And you can see that. And then my favorite thing is mosaics. And so I worked with students doing the mosaic part of the river as it comes through here.
Nice.
And then galleries, my own drawings, kind of weird drawings. I don't have much to say about them, except that in this one, the grid in the background, I've found that I'd love to hear from other artists about their experience about grids, but I feel like I'm beginning to put a grid over my life so I can handle it, I guess, because, the Alzheimer's, but just, it's interesting. This is something about a grid.
Mm.
And then, oh, I had this dream, Miss Polly, and it kind of went on and on. She was a very rigid person, very rigid, and she lived in this little rigid house. So but then came the pandemic during like 2019, and I had a dream that a plaid man with a crew cut came out, and we really needed to get rid of him, but there was no way you could stop him because he just came like that. And so here I'm trying to brush him away. And here he is in the middle. Here's Miss Polly. This is about 7 feet long, I think, wood. Um, and these are all wood and other pieces attached. Um, acrylic and wood and collage. But this plaid man drove me nuts, and we're all running away from him. Um, and going to Greece and Rome and seeing, the erotic marble sculptures of the gods and goddesses intertwined and so on really moved me. And so, but in order to draw them, I had to kind of ask Athena, can I draw these? So on the side, there are kind of Athena figures giving me permission to do these figures, kind of, and I ended up calling them "Come Here, Go Away." And the funny thing is, when I had a bunch of them showing at the Inglewood Open Studios, because I live just a block north of Inglewood, so Holly Tempo, the wonderful artist, invited me to share her studio. And I sold these drawings like crazy, especially gay guys said, "Come here, go away." That's great. And it was really fun. So these are all that kind of feeling. And then I was, oh, this is not.
It's wonderful to see the way you go back and forth between creating your three-dimensional interpretations of your ideas and your drawings and paintings. It's very fluid.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. This is kind of a short, this was fortunately a short series because I think I was ready to do public art again, and this is called The Burden of Unused Wings. It just felt heavy that I had the wings to do it, but they were just sitting on me.
Mm.
And then came the looting of the Baghdad Museum, and these are some of the faces that you see there. And these are big wood, 48 by 60 mixed media on wood. And I guess that one's my favorite anyway. This one's in the garage. And this beautiful vase that had the whole meaning of giving, like we have city that takes care of the trash and takes care of this and so on. And that particular vase in the ancient time showed people bringing goods to the goddess and how she would protect them and so on. It's like one of the ancient ones. And then I showed them at the gallery at West LA College. And then some photography that, I'm sure we all do photography. And that's my talk. That's it. And there's Gretchen.
Cool.
Hey. And there's
Thank
info,
you.
resumes, and whatever,
Ah.
anybody cares.
Do you work with anyone, or you always work alone in your studio?
Alone.
Mm-hmm.
I used to share, ceramic studio and stuff. Oh, why? I mean, that's an interesting question.
Can I just ask you, you showed that was that your stepdaughter, that face on the building?
Oh, no,
That's what's her name? Greta somebody. What's her name? The
yeah,
activist.
Oh, okay. But was that something that was that a painting
photograph,
that you did? No. Oh, it's a photograph. Okay. That,
photograph of
yeah. All
existing.
right. Yeah. Sorry about that. Thank you. Well, that was wonderful. I have,
Yeah.
um, I mean, it's a lot of work. It's a lot of different things going on.
Yeah.
Um, and I just have to say, I so enjoyed seeing the those drawings that you did that come together and go away. Those they're just such strong. I mean, with your paintings and your drawings, they're just really strong. They're very powerful. And when you told me that your father had been a gymnastics instructor for NYU, I thought, wow, it's like it's sort of like that's coming through in these drawings that you're doing. But then I also wondered about Sam Amato. I also wondered about Sam Amato, who was your painting instructor at UCLA, and I'm not familiar with him, so I don't know what kind of painter that he was. But I mean, it's really strong drawings and the paintings, and they really do come through. And then you're doing these fabricated public art pieces, and those are powerful and strong. And I think that Karina asked about the engineering on them. And
Mhm.
so, were you involved in the engineering, or did the
You
people
have to have
doing the
engineers.
fabricating doing the engineering?
Um, they pretty much told me what material would be the best.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Nancy, the way, which is good for everyone to know if you're interested in public art, they're definitely the city of LA has a program, or at least they used to, where they want artists that haven't been active in public art to submit images. And
Mm,
you actually have to permit them to take ownership because they're taking on the liability
right. Yeah.
of the structure standing and
Yeah.
not harming.
Mhm.
So they're not expecting that if you have experience, they value that. But there actually is a road in that at least LA City used to have for
Yeah.
people that have never done public art, but like Lucy have really strong imagery and
Yeah.
clarity. And the dimension in Lucy's work that I find so interesting is the issue of scale. Here we have the 6-inch drawings right behind her. And then they go, to, 6 feet is modest. And she showed you the images of the work from Yellowstone, and it didn't do justice to it in any way. But those pieces were huge. And back in before that show, a couple different times, Lucy and I had shown on some little places in Venice and things. And we, I saw her work and I saw it in the studio, but there was something when it really went into a first class art space, because Security Pacific took a major lead. This was pre-MoCA and all. It was one of the few places that really could have things of large scale. And it was just like, it wasn't, I mean, it just radically like, oh my God, just what you would, that museum experience when you've been walking alongside someone who is kind of out there and having total, interest and acclaim in her work at the spaces that had been easily available. And this just went, whoa, and it was so wonderful. And I'm not surprised that from that, then, it's a good 10, 12 years, but then the public arts followed. And I think,
Yeah.
I think that
Fantastic.
intermix of the residency, and Lucy goes in and out of this time of being with others in community and still very caring. And I mean, it's a very sweet
It
journey.
is. But I have to say, when Nancy mentioned about how strong your paintings and your drawings, you're a sculptor.
Mm.
So, I mean, I see you as a sculptor, and it seems like it's no surprise that your drawings and paintings have that kind of strength as well. But anyway, it's wonderful the way you just go back and forth. And
Yeah.
as Sandra said, the fact you worked also, you were president twice, like what, 10 years in between or 12 years, wherever it was.
Just a
How
glutton for punishment.
I
Yeah.
tell you, huh? But also, and then taking care of your husband, and oh my God, it's really moving.
It's a whole other thing.
I'm
Yeah.
so
I
sorry I
have to
missed
tell
it.
you, I have to tell you, a couple of things. the fact that you started out drawing pictures of cowboys and horses, and I'm going, oh my God, that's where I started out. And, horses have always been there. But the fact that you were a caregiver, my heart goes out to you. It's been a year since the people that I did caregiving for have passed. So I know what that's like, and I really appreciate the way you depicted that.
Mm.
The fact that you took a few minutes each day to draw something for yourself, and then you worked with it. And I love there was one series you did that had the name The Weight of Unused Wings.
Mhm.
Yes.
And I
Mm.
imagine that's something that most artists can resonate with, because I'm sure we all have had dreams of projects that we haven't been able for one reason or another to bring to life.
Mm.
And I love the fact that you use that title for a series. And I love all of the amazing public art pieces that you
Oh,
did bring to life. They're
oh, it's
amazing.
amazing. Absolutely.
Thank you.
And also, Lucy, I'm sorry, but when you said that you showed us the piece and you said that it got knocked down, I think that was when you said it got hit by a car or something, and that's
One
how it
piece
got
was
knocked down.
hit by a car, and then the government changed, and it, Linwood City, I don't know about Linwood City,
Oh, okay.
but they just took down the whole thing. And
Mm.
somebody said that some of the people had them in their backyards, took a
Oh,
piece.
God. Oh,
I don't
geez.
know.
Oh,
Lucy, Lucy, we are putting together an exhibit with past presidents and the
Oh,
history of SWCA. And the pieces behind you, I've been looking at, and I looked at them very closely. And I'm asking you if you would be able to exhibit those pieces in our show. We are trying to get artwork from many of the past presidents, and that is so beautiful behind
mm.
you. So
When is it? When is
uh,
this?
it's at the Makery,
It's in May,
May.
Oh, great.
May,
Okay. Yeah.
May 2026.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll be in contact on
2026.
that.
I'd love to.
You
Thank
just
you.
said
Okay, that's
2027.
wonderful.
Wait a
No,
minute, it's
26, May
2026.
26.
Yeah, not 27.
No, 26.
I'm thinking of framing them a little. I talked to a framer. Actually, do guys know Candy Lee? She's an artist,
I know, I have met her and I know of her, Candace Lee. Yeah, yeah.
and so she has some good ideas for just some small frames that would be around them, white, because they're on canvas right now. They're just
Right.
Be very nice, yeah.
feel like this, just
Oh, yeah, 12 by 12. Right.
Huh.
Great, yeah.
So now, wait a second. I'm curious. So you said that you started out doing them as 6 inches by 6 inches, and now you've copied them on to 12 inches by 12 inches?
Wow.
each.
There's four of them on a page.
Oh, it's four on a canvas. Oh, okay. All right.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and you also said when we were talking earlier that you're going to be displaying these at West Los Angeles
Yeah,
College.
December 6th, I think, is through 15th or something like
It's
that.
going to be an instructor's exhibit,
Faculty, yeah.
faculty exhibit.
It
Yeah.
opens on the 16th of next month?
I don't, yeah, I think we're supposed to bring the pieces in December 5th. They didn't give us
Okay.
any guidelines yet.
Okay. Okay. Well, that's very cool. Yeah, I don't know. Do you want to share don't you have a concept with those or you want to make that public?
Oh, what?
Or you wanted to move organize an exhibition or do more around the Alzheimer's?
Yeah, this is the perfect, because I have a body of work about Alzheimer's, and I still meet with a bunch of women that I knew from Sam Amato's class. They're our age, if I may generalize. And we meet Sarah Walsh and a bunch of other really wonderful women artists. Anyway, three of them have husbands who have had Alzheimer's, and out of like eight of us. And they have done some work related to it. And I have some connections with other places that have Alzheimer's related artists, or people themselves with Alzheimer's who do some art. So anyway, I'm trying to put together a show. Not trying, I haven't stepped into the ring very strongly yet, but I was thinking the place that I mentioned before, it's 513 Boccaccio, that one would be a very good place for what's it called? For a place to ask for donations for that kind of thing when they buy something, that 40%, because the show last time in March was 40% went to the Bionda Creek Renaissance and the rest went to the artists.
Very cool.
I did an art involvement project many years ago where people who were Alzheimer's patients created a piece of art, and then other artists took it and created a response piece to it.
That's beautiful. Yeah.
I put the name of an artist in the chat who did a whole installation about at the LA Art Association about her husband's Alzheimer's.
She's a member,
The
Lucy.
chat? Okay, I see. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. And I'm trying, and I see the same thing with her, is that it's not depressing. I really just don't want depressing art. Enough, of course, a lot of surrealists did very art that now that we look at it and you think about it, it's depressing, but these are beautiful. Yeah. Oh, preserved memories.
She has a really interesting process. She does something using salt to activate her painting and sort of let the chemistry almost becomes, like it's a
I'll have to.
mercurial. I mean, it takes on a life of its own in the artwork, the way she applies the salts. And so which is kind of there's a lot of metaphors in much of this.
Yeah, I'll take a look. That's like a beautiful, classy show.
Yeah. But Lucy, I think you were at some of those first meetings, right? With the Women's Caucus when Ruth Weisberg was organizing it.
Ruth Weisberg, yeah, in her house and everywhere else.
Yeah.
It's great.
So does anyone have any other questions or comments that they want to make in regards to Lucy's work? Her extensive career?
Thank you for your comments.
I see we're recording. Will this be up on the
Yes.
on YouTube? Okay, good, because I'm so sorry I missed it.
Yeah, we're going to be putting it up on the YouTube. Daniel Eubanks will partake of it and put it up there for us. So I don't know if no one else has any other comments or questions that they wanted to bring in. I will just mention, Lucy, I don't think you said in the talk, but you showed us how you had the studio that you had built, the beautiful studio you built over the house. And then you changed it, you turned it into the apartment that you could then therefore help pay for Foz's care now that he's in a facility and being cared for. And then, so that was the point and purpose of that apartment. You turned it into that beautiful apartment, and now you're doing your work out of the guest room in the house.
Right.
Which is wonderful. I mean, nothing's going to keep you down. And it's going to keep on going. And do you find, I mean, it is a smaller room. Is that sort of constraining the size of the pieces that you're able to do, or you keep doing larger
We'll
pieces?
see, Nancy. We'll see.
Okay. All right.
But I really appreciate your asking me to do this because it feels like it's really, I'm an artist again. It's like I'm finally getting my sea legs, so to speak. So thank you.
That's wonderful. And I just wanted to say, because Sandra said that about your artwork and seeing it displayed in a proper setting, like Security Pacific in the gallery that they did, that you showed, it was just a quick photo that you showed of the works that you did about the looting of the library in 2008, and that you did that. That was an exhibit that was at West Los Angeles College.
Mhm.
That looked like a beautiful installation. I mean, those pieces are really strong and big. And then you showed the installation, and it just looked like an absolutely gorgeous show. And
And
did
you
you,
know,
well, I'm sorry, what were you going to say?
we did, a lot of people came, students and stuff, and we had little candles, and
Mhm.
we all walked with candles, kind of
I
in honor.
remember that. Yeah. Nice.
Yeah.
There's a wonderful, I mean, the same thing about Bologna Creek. I mean, there was a series of when Lucy was first starting working with them, you had first it was just your shows by literally outdoors, right? The Bologna the Creek Renaissance, and then, I know myself and Anne and several others contributed pieces another time, and Betsy was in town and she gave work. And so there's always this aspect of, I love how you want to stand and be fully in the gallery and claim that experience, but you don't limit it to that. I think that's, where your life is where you're feeling connected, just you're there as an artist. It's it's wonderful to have been invited to be a to here and there to be a part and to witness. It,
I have a question. I'm sorry my video is off, but I don't want to show my face tonight.
Okay.
Aw.
Do
me
you,
too.
when you,
Or fight.
when you do these commissions for the public art, do you get a grant to do this, or how does that work, or is it a commission?
It's first, if you see if you're interested, and sometimes you have to, you think, did I have to pay? You send in your work, and then if you become a finalist, they pay you a little something. And then, the finalists have their show. Like I was a finalist for some mural along Manhattan Beach that I really wanted. And in the Manhattan Beach Library, they had our work. I didn't get it. But then I guess, whoever chooses. And then, when you start, you know what the price of what you'll get for that public art.
I see.
$10,000, your work kind of small. If it's
Right.
200,000, you work big.
And then when you say then you have to turn over your idea and they build it, whoever they are, then they have a budget for
Oh, yeah.
that, and that's kind of out of your hands, right?
You know your budget from the beginnings because you
Oh,
know choose the medium.
I see. Okay, I see.
Sometimes they'll tell you what the medium is and the size of what they need.
Right.
So, and then I had with Long Beach, I didn't show you the Long Beach one because I'm disgusted. It's not that bad, but I made the design for along the fence along the Long Beach Transit, the train in Del Amo somewhere. And so it's a fence with, you know, images, just like you saw I did on some other stuff. And then by the time it got done, Long Beach Transit said, well, we didn't ask for it along the fence. You have to put it over there. And then we had to redesign it so that it just becomes this kind of cockeyed thing in a triangle of land. It was very disappointing.
Sounds complicated.
Yeah, it's complicated, right?
It is.
Also, Lucy, I wanted to make sure that everybody heard about the residencies that you did in Yellowstone because you showed us the work that you did in Yellowstone, but I don't think it was necessarily all that clear that you had several residencies there. And the residencies came after you were there during the fires. They had some big fires up there. So can you tell us a little bit more about that?
I was so moved by the fires. I mean, it was like 20-foot matchsticks walking through a box of 20, 20-foot tall matchsticks. And and then the geysers at the same time. And I mean, it was like hell on earth, but it was also heaven. And when I came home, I couldn't stop drawing about it. And then Ruth Weisberg suggested, a good old Ruth, not old, she's my age. She said, I know a writer who might be interested. And so she introduced me to Katja Williamson. And then Katja and I somehow made our way back to Yellowstone. And it was great because her family was Army and she had to move from place to place. And she knew how to talk to these guys who have a cigar and put their feet up on the table. And it's like, I had no idea. And she was comfortable with them. So we got we wanted a show, but they offered us a residency. It's like, hey, we'll take it. So it was for the first time, it was like 6 weeks. And my husband finally came up at the end and her boyfriend did. But then the next time was about 3 weeks. And then I think they started making a democracy. So they got other artists. And then they got rid of the guy who hired us and they stopped all of the residencies for artists.
I think they now have, I don't know if at Yellowstone, I don't know if it's similar to what you did, but they do have a residency program there still.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Because they
Yeah.
stopped it for a while, and I'm glad that
I think it's a national parks residence. You apply for different ones, but
But I know they have one specifically in Yellowstone. If you Google Yellowstone Artist Registry, I think something will come up because I've seen advertisings for it.
great. Thank you.
Yeah.
Lucy, like when you would go to, you said you present your budget. So let's say the gates. Did you have to envision the cost of fabrication and everything? And if you if you understated what you needed, you're actually you end up not getting paid that much? Is it like one big budget, or are you getting like a creativity kind of artist stipend that you get regardless of what the final cost is to produce the artwork?
It's usually one final budget.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you have to figure out what you should pay yourself.
Right. That's what people say. They have to, like whatever like there's some artists that whatever they're thinking they should double, and other people probably may already be in that world.
Yeah, and the costs go up and up now. I mean, working with steel, when I did my public art project for Long Beach, I mean, it got installed in 2014, and everything's so much more expensive now. I mean, especially now, don't even start tariffs and all that. But yeah, so I mean, I wonder about the future of public art that's going to be, really, they're going to have to come up with more money because it just costs so much.
Do
I
you
mean,
remember
you know
who
all
you
about
worked
that.
with?
I beg your pardon?
Who'd you work with in Long Beach?
Well, it was the Arts Council. It was a statewide competition. And I really thought, oh, they've got somebody already planned. I'm not going to try for this. And then the person at the gallery, when he told me about it, they had a little gallery at that time. And I said, oh, he said, are you going to try? I said, I'm sure they have somebody already picked out. And he said, no, he said, I really loved what you did up in Canada with your faces. And I'm like, what? He actually looked at my website. So I thought, well, okay, I'll go look at the dog beach and see. Well, when I went and I saw the dogs frolicking and playing and so joyful, I got so inspired. So then I applied and yeah, I got that. I mean, it wasn't that much money. If I'd had more money, I would have had it out of stainless steel and got it powder coated because the steel is rusting and it's not going to last. And that's just the way it is. But nothing lasts in this life, We're all here for a little bling.
Yeah.
It was cool. Like when it first was installed, everybody loved it. And
Where
people,
was it? I'd love to just look on it at least online.
yeah, look on my website. I should have had a video made of it.
What's
I
your
never did.
website, if you don't
But
mind?
yeah, my website, in public art, I have some other public art stuff. But yeah, I mean, you're lucky if you get any money, really. I mean, but it's an honor to get to make a public artwork because people who have never been to museums or never been to galleries see it, and it's a whole other experience. And It's pretty magical. I don't try for them anymore though. There's too many people out there have way more experience than I do, and it's too much work.
All the AI and all this other stuff too.
What's that?
And all the the high tech with chat boxes and chat bots and so on.
Yeah.
So AI is threatening the world of public art as well as everything else. Is that what the deal
I
is?
don't know. When I was just thinking was I went to the Hammer show. Did you guys see the was it LA artists at the Hammer?
The
Made
Made
in
in LA.
Yes.
Made
Yeah.
in LA.
What did
I
you
saw
think?
some gorgeous painters.
Yeah.
The structures I thought were really
I haven't seen it this year. Last year I saw it. I haven't gone this year yet, but they usually do a pretty good job.
yeah, I wasn't too
Pretty good.
excited about the
Yeah, can't please everybody, that's for sure.
technical stuff. Yeah, but the paintings, oh my God,
Yeah.
Yeah.
so gorgeous artists. So,
Well, the other hard part is it is around materials because, you can take the same idea and if you can fabricate it, as you said, like in Karina and powder to do the powder coat versus just, aluminum that's gonna,
Oh, it
after
wasn't
one
blue.
rainy season not be so, not gonna really continue to look wonderful and fresh and crisp. It makes a big difference.
yeah.
But that would be, it's an interesting conversation. In many ways, I love having that, public art was a place that a lot of women went to early on. And it's like other things like video art and stuff, when they sort of, as soon as they sort of prove that it's viable, then the guys come along and then pretty soon it gets much harder for to get the commissions. But, the metro stations and so many places. And one year in 2009, when we had the College Art and the Women's Caucus Conference in LA, I asked the Metro, the part for the Metro, the transportation that does the art projects, if they would put together a station tour of works done by women artists. And they never had that request, and they did, and they said, we're going to keep it.
Well, what's the structure on the grass behind you, Sandra?
Oh, that is at Angels Gate. And the SCWCA Eco Art Collective in 2014, we had a show we were invited to have a show there. And so it overran during the summer solstice. So we had sort of art projects on the summer solstice. So art came out of the gallery. So I had one from the kind of Be Outrageous using those are palm fronds. And they started off in
You
that
painted
labyrinth,
them?
and they were unpainted and they could go. I had them like they were walking around the circuit and they could choose the one they wanted. And then they had a choice. They could take it home or they could put it back and leave it there. And everyone chose to return it to the circle. And it just got to go. It was there it came, it was there for about 3 years, looked really good. And pretty soon it just, has found its way back into nature.
Yeah.
That's really neat.
Yeah.
Karina, would you put your website
Oh,
on the chat?
I put your website on the chat.
But I'd like to have Karina's too.
Oh, she's
Oh,
here.
it's just my name. It's karinamassengill.com.
Oh, okay.
That's it. No space, all lowercase. But yeah, thank you very, very much, Lucy. It's great to hear all the comments that everybody had to say too.
Yeah, and so I think that probably will round it up for us for the evening.
Yep.
But thank you. It was beautiful. I'm so glad you
Thank
you.
enjoyed
Yes.
Yeah, it's really
For
lovely.
your
Thank
help
you
and your
very much.
comments.
Happy Thanksgiving, everybody.
Yes.
Happy Hanukkah.
Happy
Merry Christmas.
Thanksgiving.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Well.
All right.